Hello, Mixtresses and Mixters. This is Mixtress Ray. You're watching Mixtress video. So I am fully, 2 days late, 3 days late. Okay, Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups was turned over into Eight of Wands on Monday, November 21st. So I'm late on the Seven of Cups video. Whatever. You guys probably don't care. It is hot in this room. Okay, I'm going to take my hoodie off. Here we go. Let's get going. So I don't have a lot of insight about Seven of Cups. I am mostly just going to talk to you about what I did during Seven of Cups season this year and share with you a little symbolism insight that I don't even remember what book I read this in. I feel like it was Sasha Graham. So it might have been The Magic of Tarot. And I'm sure it's been pointed out in other books as well. But I just thought that that was interesting that the Seven Cups in the Seven of Cups symbolize different cards. So this, hold on, let me see where I can hold this. You know what? I'm just going to put it back because it was doing okay right there. So the chick in this first cup is the Empress. And the veiled woman in the second cup is the High Priestess. And the snake in the third cup, I guess, is supposed to symbolize the snake in the Lover's card. And then we have the Tower in this cup. And then we have a bunch of physical wealth and baubles, and that's the Wheel of Fortune. We have the wreath for the world, and then we have this lizard creature for the devil. So this is probably not a universal interpretation of these cards, take that with whatever grain of salt that you want. But I thought that that was just an interesting view on the Seven of Cups. If you think of the Seven of Cups as choosing a life path, sorry, I was going to light this. If you think of the Seven of Cups as choosing a life path, which, I mean, that's a little bit of a bigger symbolism to put on it than usually is the case. I've found, the Seven of Cups is not a really big life moment usually. I mean, obviously, any of the cards can be, depending on where you are in life. But if you're thinking of these 7 major arcana cards as being a life path, what are you choosing if you choose the Empress? I would say with the Empress, you might be choosing a life of being a mother. If you're choosing the path of the High Priestess, maybe you're choosing the life of being a spiritual person or a tarot reader or, something like that, a creative, intuitive path. Maybe you're becoming a psychologist. That could be the path of the High Priestess. If you're choosing the path of the Lovers, I would say that's maybe more of a humanitarian thing. You are serving humanity because you see everyone as equals to you. Or it could literally be that you are choosing the path of partnering with one other person in the more traditional meaning of the Lovers. And obviously, if you're choosing the path of the Tower, you might be somebody that really likes drama and chaos. Somebody that really wants to feel alive with turmoil. And those people exist. No shade. It's not a path I want to take, or maybe you're pursuing fortune. Or maybe you're pursuing self-actualization. Or maybe, my mom used to say whenever I was a kid, choose what you want to do with your life or it will be chosen for you. And that's the phrase that's coming into my head looking at this devil card in this context right now. Like, if you don't make a conscious choice about what you want your future to look like, you will fall into addiction and despair and bad habits and all of that stuff. Anyway, just seeing these 7 cards represented in these 7 cups as life paths is how I'm viewing this right now. I think that's kind of interesting, seeing each of these cards as sort of a portal into a conscious choice for what to do with your life. Excuse me. My numerological soul card is the Lovers. But I've taken more of a path of High Priestess in the later years. I've never really been well, I don't know, because I am a Libra, so I'm ruled by Venus, and I have a lot of planets in Libra as well. So, and like sort of the intense creativity of the Empress and sort of the beauty aspect of being ruled by Venus is very much a part of who I am. I mean, you could make an argument right now for what aspects of your life path, like when your life has gone in an Empress direction or a High Priestess direction or a Lover's direction or a Tower, you know, like we've all been there, right? Like there's probably a percentage of each of these cards that we can relate to as far as like our life composition, you know? Like 10% of who I am is this, and 10% of who I am is this, and more like 30% of who I am is this, and like, you know, that would be an interesting journaling prompt, I think, if you choose to accept it or if that sounds interesting to you. Like, what aspects of your life do you feel have gone through the portal into each of these cards, you know? When were you in more of a Wheel of Fortune space? When were you in more of a world space? Yeah, I think that's just pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Just viewing the 7 of Cups in that way. So that's really the only 7 of Cups specific insight that I have. And now I'm just going to transition into sort of a what's going on with me. On my Mixtress radio show, I call it What's Up with Mixtress. It's time for What's Up with Mixtress. So, hey, it's time for What's Up with Mixtress. The funny thing that I realized as I was sitting down to record this video is that it's possible that exclusively during the 10-day period of 7 of Cups, although I created two of those perfumes I created this week, so they were technically in 8 of Wands. But anyway, I created 7 perfumes in 7 of Cups season. So I'm going to start with talking about those perfumes, and then I'm going to kind of transition into talking about some of my favorites from the last, I don't know when the last time I recorded a favorites video was. It might have been, I really don't know. So I might be repeating something, but I don't think I am. Anyway, whatever. If I am repeating myself, then hey, it's still a favorite from the last time I talked about it. So I'm going to start with kind of my favorite thing right now is making perfume. I have acquired I have kind of a whole library of fragrance oils now, and I only had to I bought less than 10 for myself, and then I have a friend who let me borrow this giant tub of fragrance oils that she had because she used to make soap. And she said I could, you know, take however much I want and play around with it for a while and stuff like that. So essentially I have been learning how to make oil perfumes, and it has been really fulfilling and magical. So I'm going to, probably no one cares, but I'm going to talk about the perfumes that I've been making for myself, and they're all here. And most of them are named after songs. The exceptions are these two right here. And I'll talk about those when I get to them. Okay, here we go. So, Bird Mad Girl and Sullen Girl were the first ones that I created. I'm holding them up like, look, all you can see is, you can't smell them, you can't. But, okay, essentially what they are, I have, in my head, there's been a clove vanilla perfume swirling around inside my head for maybe decades. And, like, I've bought a lot of perfumes that have clove in them. Usually there isn't an option of a perfume that has clove and vanilla. I've tried a lot of different clove perfumes, and I have hit upon one that is a favorite that's called Clove Cigarettes because it actually smells like clove cigarettes. It would be really, really cool if one day I'm good enough at making perfume that I can recreate that scent. So that was kind of an inspiration for Bird Mad Girl. But essentially these are variations. These two are variations of the same scent. So this one has more of an equal number of clove and vanilla, and this one is heavier on the vanilla. But essentially, and there's other ingredients in there as well. I won't bore you with all of the details, but this is, anyway, the point is I am making my own perfumes, and I'm actually not that bad at it. Like, even just being a total beginner, not really knowing what I'm doing, I'm surprised that it's going so well already. And it's been really fulfilling. So far, I'm going to try to stop here for a little bit because you are kind of supposed to, when you're making oil perfumes, you're kind of supposed to make them and then set them aside for like a month, was one source I heard. They said to set it aside for a month and let like the oils kind of mix together. And I have found that's the case since, like, when I buy stuff from Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab, which is also oil-based perfume like this, it's like the older it is, the better it gets usually. Like, so I'm leaving these to age. But essentially, these were the first two that I made. It's mostly clove and vanilla, and they're slightly different from each other, so I decided that they were twins. And next I made, this one is kind of meant to be a dupe of a perfume that's called Cherry Punk that I only have a sample of, and it's an expensive, like, designer type perfume, spray perfume. And I really like it. It's the main notes in it are cherry and black leather. So I wanted to make a dupe of it for myself. And this is the one that it is close. It actually smells a lot like Cherry Punk. And I'm pretty proud of it. So, yeah, so this is named after the opening track on Garbage's self-titled album, Super Vixen. And this is, I didn't explain it, but Sullen Girl is a Fiona Apple song, and Bird Mad Girl is a lyric in the Cure song called Burn, which is one of my top 5 songs of all time. Favorite. And then this one is one that I need to redo. I don't really like how it turned out, but this one has a lot of different stuff in it. But it's essentially, I wanted like a coffee, vanilla, musk, like sort of fragrance. I put like pumpkin spice in here, and like, it's got a lot of shit in it. This is the one that wasn't really actually very successful, and it's because I didn't realize it at the time, but I was putting too much coffee scent in it because the coffee scent is overpowering everything else. So I'm probably going to have to pour this one out and start again. But this is named after a Kate Bush song. So the idea with this one is going to be kind of a, yeah, like I said, coffee, vanilla. I really love vanilla, so vanilla is pretty much in everything. But yeah, This is the one that I'm going to need to redo. But yeah, the idea to begin with was that I would create 4 different fragrances. One based on Fiona Apple, one based on Kate Bush, one based on Garbage, and one that is based on The Cure. That was my original plan, was to have 4 main scents. So anyway, I'm ending up with others in the process, but that's okay. And then we'll move on. This Pachuma, I don't know if that's the final name of it, but this is just a scent I'm making for my mom. Her favorite fragrance is Patchouli and Satsuma. And the Satsuma is a type of, I think it's a type of orange, but it's a very specific scent to the Body Shop. So my mom, she's very particular. She's a Virgo. And I just finished this one a few days ago, and I have not had her try it yet, but this is my second attempt at making a fragrance for my mom. So this might be the second of many, but eventually I'm going to get it right so that I can make my mom perfume. So that's what that one is. That one, it might end up being named after a song, but I'm going to have her help me name it. I'm going to skip over this one for now. I have these in chronological order, but I'm going to skip over this one and go back to it because it's different than the rest. Sleep to Dream, named after the opening track of Fiona Apple's title album. I'm not sure if I like this as the title of this particular perfume. This probably will get renamed, but essentially this is an incense perfume. It's a mixture of sandalwood, patchouli, and Nag Champa and amber. And this is the one that I made yesterday. So this is the one that I made the most recently. And it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I need to let it age some more. But I'm pretty happy with it because I wanted my Fiona Apple fragrance to smell like patchouli and incense. Because I don't know about Fiona Apple's perfume life. Surprise, surprise, I have no idea. But I would assume that if she wears anything, she probably wears like patchouli oil. Or just in general, she probably smells like a hippie. That's my theory, is that she might burn incense at her house, or she might just wear patchouli oil, or yeah. If she smells like anything, I feel like she smells like incense and patchouli. So yeah, my main fragrances that I'm creating for myself: Fiona Apple Incense Patchouli, Kate Bush Coffee Vanilla, Garbage Cherry Leather, and The Cure Clove Vanilla. So that's my main idea for my fragrances, and I am just having so much fun with it, and I'm taking it slow. I'm not falling into traps that I normally would fall into where I buy too much stuff. So far I've spent I think $50 on ingredients, little bottles and different fragrance oils and things. I'm doing okay as far as that is concerned. Okay, last one. This one is not actually, I don't get to claim this one for anything. I called it PSL because I'm trying to make a dupe of my second favorite Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab scent called Pumpkin Snake Latte. And this one is just a blend of different Black Phoenix Alchemy Labs that I have, scents that I have. This is a blend of a 2010 scent that they had in their Halloween collection called Pumpkin Latte. That was really heavy on the coffee and cinnamon, so it was it's too harsh for me to wear by itself. So this blend is about a third of that pumpkin latte. It's about a third snake oil, and it's a third of another snake oil blend that I have called Please Scream Inside Your Snake Oil. So this is just a blend of perfumes that someone else has made in an attempt to recreate one of my favorite perfumes. And I actually did a really great job. It actually smells really close to Pumpkin Snake Latte. So, yeah. I am I'm proud of it, but it's not, I don't get to take any credit for this one, essentially. But I am proud of it, and it smells really good. And in fact, I'm going to put it on right now, because this one I don't have to wait for it to age, because it's not fragrance oils that I'm mixing from scratch or anything. So I'm just going to put it on right now and enjoy it, because I haven't put perfume on yet today. So that's kind of like my top favorite thing that I've been doing lately. What I've been spending my free time doing during Seven of Cups season. Hey, these are 7 little vessels. These are my 7 cups. But now I'm going to transition into sort of a favorites video. I only have 3 things here to show you. But yeah. So I'll save the deck for last, since that's what you guys probably care about the most. Haha. So one of my favorite things this is just a silly thing, but I have recently started listening to CDs again in my car. I packed up this little CD binder full of CDs, and I'm listening to CDs in my car again. And not only it's nostalgic because I'm listening to like old stuff, because that's all I have on CD is like super old stuff. But also I'm teaching myself how to sing again. Like I'm singing along, and I'm also just like, it's such a simple, silly thing. Okay, so here's the visual aid I have for this, just because this is one of my favorite CDs of all time. Garbage's self-titled album. So not only is it fun because, I'm listening to music again and I'm singing along and all of that stuff, but also just the simple pleasure of like every time I start up my car, the music just resumes playing where it left off. I don't have to like search around on my phone for something to listen to and plug it in and all that bullshit. Because I feel like oftentimes in our modern society, the way that it works when we listen to mostly streaming shit, we spend so much time trying to decide what to listen to that sometimes we're just paralyzed by that decision, which means we listen to nothing. Or I don't know about you, but I end up like putting a YouTube video on while I'm driving sometimes, which is dangerous and ridiculous. I mean, it's not like I'm watching it, but still. And it's just, I spend too much time being sucked into the thoughts of others. It's something that I've talked about with you guys before. Whereas when you're listening to music, you're in a fantasy land. And that does kind of go back to the 7 of Cups, right? It's okay to be in a fantasy land. It's okay to daydream. I feel like that's another aspect of the 7 of Cups. I feel like we don't let ourselves, as adults, in the current iteration of our society, we don't let ourselves daydream as much anymore. We don't have those like sort of scheduled times like we had when we were kids of like sitting in class and daydreaming and like drawing in our notebooks and like fantasizing about what our lives are going to be like. That sort of feeling that you had when you were a kid of like, I could be anything I want. I can do anything I want. And I think part of that has been taken away from us, not only because, like the responsibilities of adulthood, blah, 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 but also because we don't have that. Or I know I keep saying we, but like maybe this is like not everyone's problem. But from my perspective, I feel like there's a lot of, we don't schedule that time for ourselves where we can like, I'm not sure how how to say what I'm trying to say. But you know what that space feels like whenever you're like in class, or like your attention is not completely on something and you have this freedom for your mind to wander. It's not the same as just like not doing anything, because there's something going on that you're sort of partially paying attention to. Like when your brain is partially occupied by like, listening to a lecture or whatever, and you can't go anywhere and you can't do anything, and it's just you and a notebook. You know what I mean? This is a very special space. And I feel like we don't give ourselves this type of space anymore. It's that particular environment to support daydreaming, I think that is something that we are missing. And listening to music in the car kind of creates that space to a certain degree for me, because listening to music, even though it's a very emotionally connected experience, it's not specific ideas like watching a YouTube video or, that kind, or listening to a podcast. Like most of my time listening to audio these days is audio on YouTube or podcasts. And so it's always just thoughts of people. And listening to music is different because it's occupying a part of your brain, particularly music that you're extremely familiar with. It occupies a part of your brain, but it leaves so much space to daydream about other things. It's almost like part of your brain has to be occupied for you to be in that daydreaming space. Does that make any sense? I don't know how to articulate it because it's such a fantastic space to be in, right? It's a fantasy world, literally. And I think we don't spend enough time on fantasy. You would think that as a society that's like always watching TV and movies and blah, 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 but I think less and less of our time is spent that way. We spend too much time in the current composition of our society on reality. And I don't think that's good for us. It's not good for me anyway. So anyway, I've been having a lot of fun just listening to music in my car. Oh, this picture just brings me back, man. Got some tornado on it, of course. Actually, I don't know if this has tornado on it. It would be much more damage. This is like a reissue. Yeah, 2015. That was just some other dirt. Anyway, garbage. Always one of my favorite things, but also just listening to music in the car in general is one of my favorite things. Okay, next, you know what I'm going to do? I just feel like I'm going to keep being tempted to rearrange these cards when I mess them up. So I'm just going to set them aside for the rest of this video. Okay, and then I have a couple of perfumes to show. These are possibly still available. They might be sold out. I don't know. But I did, like I do every Halloween, I bought lots of perfumes from Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab, and these were the two standouts to me. Let me actually... Did I talk about these already? I feel like I talked about these already. Maybe it was on my podcast, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself. I'm going to consult my perfume journal and let you know what the composition of these are. Okay, Every Day is Halloween. This one I've been wearing a lot lately. Both of these I've been wearing a lot lately. So this one's called Every Day is Halloween. And the notes description is skin-warmed sandalwood and toasted pumpkin seed. So it's a very, like, the description of the scent is very simple. It smells really good. Michael says it smells like maple syrup. He's like, why do you smell like pancakes right now? But I don't necessarily get the pumpkin I don't necessarily get the pancake vibe from it, but I can kind of see why he thinks that. It's definitely a great Halloween, everyday Halloween scent. Truly, it is. And of course, Every Day is Halloween is the name of the great Ministry song of the same name. And anyway, I'm loving it. I'm loving it a lot. It is, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just, it is a great everyday Halloween scent. Like, if you want every day to be Halloween, this is the scent. It's unmistakably fall. It really is. But it's also, like, well-rounded enough that if you just want a little taste of fall in the middle of summer, this would still be a great scent to wear. I don't know, it's just becoming a total favorite, and I'm loving it so much. It's just so well crafted. Like, I mean, I'll never get to this point of, like, perfume creation, of, like, this is just a flawless composition. I'm liking it a lot. It may even enter, like, a top 10 perfume category for me. I don't know. And I feel the same way about Shadowed Veil. So this is this other one. I kind of fell in love with this one first. I was wearing this one a lot more in October, whereas I'm wearing Every Day is Halloween a lot more this month. But okay, here's the description for Shadowed Veil. A strangely sensual, darkly fey All Hallows Eve cologne, a perfume of the underworld. Black pumpkin, leather, pomegranate incense, agar wood, and bourbon patchouli. So this one is much more complex than Every Day is Halloween. I love scents with pumpkin in it. I really do. And leather is becoming a favorite for me as of recently. Usually I can't do things with fruit, like especially when we're in the berry territory, and I feel like pomegranate is kind of in the berry territory. I know it's not really, is it? I don't know. It's more of a seed, right? I don't know. Don't listen to me. It's so good though. And it really is, it does remind me of a very, like, fairy scent. Like, it does, I mean, I'm probably highly suggestible as far as, like, this saying, strangely sensual, darkly fey, like, so I'm influenced by that for sure. But it's, yeah, it's amazing. It does sort of have this darkness to it, that, like, the pomegranate incense and the leather and the pumpkin, like, together make it sort of, it smells kind of wrong, but it's kind of my perfect type of scent. Like, my favorite type of scent is something that is a bit foodie, but also kind of evil. Sort of that, like, dichotomy of, like, femininity, for lack of a better word, but you know what I'm talking about. Femininity and darkness, you know? This has that. And in fact, this perfume specifically, and this is why I'm thinking about the fact that I've talked about these, because they were in my perfume collection video. That's why. So yeah, I have talked about these before, but this reminds me of Lananshi, which is like a blood fairy, vampire fairy, Celtic fairy situation, I think. I don't know. Oh my god. I never really know what I'm talking about. Okay, last thing. My favorite deck acquisition from, like, the fall, pretty much, because, actually, let me consult my planner and see, like, what decks did I acquire this fall? Let's see. I'm just gonna look over I've been tracking all of my online purchases this year. We'll start with September. Did I get any decks in September? I did. Moonbaby Tarot. I got Moonbaby Tarot in September, but that's one that I've had before. I got a tarot deck that I returned in October. In November, this was just a couple weeks ago, I got Tarot de la Nuit. And I got a Lenormand deck. But I haven't really gotten into that yet. I just got it a couple days ago. And Tarot de la Nuit it's an interesting one. I might do some kind of review on it at some point or show it on this channel in some fashion. But I'm still kind of getting to know it and figuring out my thoughts on it. And that Lenormand deck that it was literally like 3 days ago that I got that deck. So I really have no opinions on that one yet, so I'm not going to talk about that one yet. But the only other deck I've gotten in that time period, and definitely my favorite that I've gotten this fall, is Woodland Warden's Oracle. So I'm not typically like a huge Oracle person, but this one has really stolen my heart. I've been using it for almost all like my patron readings and client readings and pick-a-pile readings on this channel. I love that like every card is an animal and a plant, and the guidebook it actually goes into why that particular plant was chosen and what its symbolism is, and why that particular animal was chosen and the symbolism. And I just love the way that the guidebook is structured too, because it just talks about the symbolism of the animal and the plant. It has an upright and reversed meaning, and then it has a couple of like journaling prompts type questions as well. And that's it. It's a very simple, straightforward guidebook. It's the kind of guidebook that I like because it's just talking about the symbolism and why it was chosen. And so many guidebooks do not do that, and it's annoying. So, and each one has, the moth and eucalyptus and ending. Some of the keywords I find are on the cards are a little like, what? Why is that the keyword? So I might add more keywords by hand at some point. But yeah, I'm really loving this deck. I seem to have like no limit when it comes to animal decks. I can have all the animal decks. And oh, look at this little squirrel. There's no ferret in this deck, but there is a marten and a weasel and a skunk. So there's several ferret adjacent animals. Skunk. Anyway, this is not typically like my art style, but I am just so charmed by this deck. It was very reasonably priced because it's like, I think it costs like between 15 and 20 bucks. And it's thoughtful and it's great. It's really, really great. I was able to pretty much just start using it immediately without feeling like I needed to get to know it, that kind of thing. And some of that is just because I do have some basis of knowledge for animal energy stuff. Here's the weasel. But also, yeah, anyway, this is my favorite Oracle deck, possibly that I've gotten all year. You know what? We're close enough to the end of the year. I should probably do a separate video for that and have it more organized so I can show things off, like show you my favorite Oracle deck that I got this year, my favorite tarot deck I got this year, my favorite perfume I got this year, all that stuff. I need to be more organized to make that video, plus we're already 39 minutes in. So I will shut up now, but thank you so much for watching. Just for funsies. I almost made this video a pick-a-pile reading, like pick your path, pick your cup, and then we'll do a reading for it. But instead, I'm just going to shuffle the 7 cups. What do we need to know right now? Everyone watching this video. Take stock of what your addictions are right now. What unhealthy behaviors, what are you chained to right now? Why are you preventing yourself from daydreaming about the life that you could have? Why are you stopping yourself from your full potential? Okay, that's it. Thank you guys for watching.